Before we get started, I thought this would be a fun activity that I don't know if we've ever gone through before. Moran, the Packers' biggest rival is who?
The Bears.
Ryan, the Lions' biggest rival is who?
The Packers.
And I'm like the Packers by a mile. So I just thought it was interesting. I feel like the Packers are everyone's rival, main rival, because, they've been just whooping our ass for so long. So that's why everyone probably hates the Packers. I imagine if there were any Vikings fans, which there probably aren't, they would say the Packers as well.
I was going to say, too, before any Vikings fans jump in our DMs and stuff, we will not be adding one, so please do not ask.
Well, maybe. Apply with
never.
You never know. You never know. I might work with someone in the school who just happens to be a Vikings fan, and then 10 years later they might join us. You never know.
There you go. Or if Brock Lesnar wants to join as our fourth.
That's fair.
Former
I will say, and a lot of Lions fans are going to give me shit for this, but I know the Packers are our biggest rival, but I hate the Vikings more, if that makes sense. Like, I just can't stand the Vikings, bro.
Okay, I'm going to jump in. It doesn't make sense, so please explain.
It makes sense because at least, like, the Packers have won something. Like, the Vikings are just so, like, they have everything going for them all the time, and they can just never do anything. Like, they're more just, like, a nuisance and a disappointment. And I know, like, the Lions have also been disappointing, and I know, obviously, it doesn't make sense in that way, but, like, at least I have some form of respect for the Packers winning it a couple times. Like,
what do you guys think about this take? So the argument gets brought up a lot about like most tortured fan bases in the NFL. You always hear about the Browns. You, until recently, always heard about the Lions. You always hear about, crappy organizations. Usually those two lead the pack. What do you think about the Vikings as the most tortured fan base? No Super Bowls. They had a 15-1 team that lost in the first round. They've literally been at the doorstep of a championship, losing the NFC Championship to the Eagles after the Minneapolis Miracle. They go to Philly and they get waxed by Nick Foles. Like, the Vikings, like, if you're a Browns fan, how many times in the last 50 years did you ever feel like, oh, maybe this is the year?
Like the Ernest Biner year, and that was the one time.
Exactly. Yeah. I feel like if you're a Vikings fan, there's been in the 2000s, in the last 25 years, probably 10 or 11 times when you were like, ooh, the Vikings, like, damn, they can make some noise. Like, this might be their year. Randy Moss.
That's what I mean, though. Like, they always have a pretty decent team, if not a good team. Like, they always finish with a pretty good record most years, and it just nothing happens. Like, it's just... I'd be so annoyed if I were Vikings. Like, I'd be so bothered by
worse? Is that worse than the Browns? Like,
no, I can't say that because the Browns are just like pathetic. Like, it's like, would you rather go to 4 Super Bowls and lose them all like the Bills did, or just never make one like the Lions? Like, it's that age-old question. I'd rather be somewhat good than just downright awful.
4 in a row, though, that's like borderline.
Oh, I know.
Put me on suicide watch, probably.
I think so. You hit it on the head with the Vikings. Like, I don't think it's a torture when your team sucks and they always suck. Like, it doesn't mean anything.
What? Yes, it is, bro.
No, because so it's like the ugly guy that always gets like tries to get the hot girl, and the girl's like, no, I'm good. They always say no, so you're like, okay,
let me tell you something about that guy. He goes home and he cries every night.
That's fine, but he's used to it. He never actually thought that he could get the girl. He just wants to ask because it's his routine.
Look, we're not here to talk about my dating life before I got married, okay? Can we just move...
It's more about expectations, right? You can't really be hurt if you have no expectations.
Exactly.
Like if you go into a season, like the Browns going into this year, no Browns fan at the end of the year is going to be like, oh, God, can't believe we won 5 games. Like, that's what's going to happen.
Yeah.
Exactly.
There have been many years like that, though.
Yeah, I think it's a lot worse when your team's good and you guys are going to rip on me. I think the Packers are going to win it every year, and every year that they don't, it hurts. So
exactly.
It hurts a lot.
Yeah. One of the most tortured fan bases that never gets talked about is the Arizona Cardinals. I think in the 4 major sports, they've gone the longest without winning a championship. It's like 1934. We're coming up on the century mark.
Yeah, but then they open their front door and it's 85 and no rain. So
Well, exactly. I mean, yeah, they're just like not passionate about football over there, so no one even thinks about them.
yeah,
That's true. They did have that sick-ass Kurt Warner year, though, when they played the Steelers in the Super Bowl. That team rocked.
oh, you mean the year that we played them in the first round and we couldn't stop them? Yeah, that was
Yep.
fun.
That was like
That
one
was
of the best Super
different
Bowls
than
too.
the Jeff Janis Hail Mary year. Wasn't that against the Cardinals, too?
Yeah,
Different year, though.
yeah.
Sorry.